what is the current situation as of right now when it comes to Onyx? Now, one thing we do know though is that the price is not looking the best, but actually in terms of their recently released mainnet of their layer 1 blockchain, I've been noticing some key statistics which has kind of surprised me, and I think it could showcase how it could maybe impact Onyx moving forward. Because remember, not too long ago, Onyx, they launched the Explorer when it comes to their layer 1, and then on there, I saw some pretty cool statistics, so yeah, I'll talk about it. But I first want to clarify, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, it's just my mindset and perspective. So I recently saw that the average transaction fee when it comes to Onyx as of right now on their layer 1 is $0.0002268. Now people may be thinking, like, what the, that's really low. Why does that even matter? Well, let's think about this. Now, in terms of daily transactions, we're seeing tens of thousands currently on average, right? Now imagine, if let's say we're seeing all these transactions going on, and even though the average transaction fee is very low, that eventually is really going to kind of add up over the long haul, right? But why is that a good thing? Hypothetically, well, it's because 10% of gas fees are burned when it comes to Onyx in terms of their layer 1. So again, seeing an average transaction fee of $0.0002268, people may be thinking, well, like, who really cares about that? But given at a time like right now, in 2026, when the market isn't doing the best, and yet we see tens of thousands of daily transactions still, despite the bad market conditions going on as of right now, and yet we see, again, those figures with the Onyx Layer 1, that's kind of impressive, and it showcases that, you know what, the wheels are starting to turn a little bit, because imagine what those would look like, especially if the market were to recover. And again, even though the average transaction fee may be low, what happens is that if there's more and more transactions and 10% of those gas fees are being burned, that inherently is going to create this amazing deflationary hypothetical pressure for Onyx moving forward. It's like, for instance, you know, let's say someone owns a store and let's say the profit margin for each product sold is only 1% or whatever. Let's just say it's something like that. Now, the way to kind of, you know, think about it is that the way they're going to make up for it is to sell in terms of the volume, right? Maybe if they have a different store and the profit margin is looking very fantastic, maybe they don't need to sell so many units. But if the profit margin is really low for a company out there, let's say there's a store or something like that, they have to make up for it in terms of the volume. But it adds up, right? That's the way to take a look at it. So I view it a little bit no different when it comes to Onyx in terms of the way, you know, the gas fees are burned and all this, at least 10% of it, I should say. But eventually it could matter for the long haul. That is just my mindset. So when people like to say, well, Onyx is cooked, I just don't really think so. I mean, it's just experiencing pretty much something that a lot of other projects out there are experiencing, which is how it's not doing good. But I have to take a look at it for what it is in terms of their layer 1 blockchain, which launched in terms of the mainnet this year. And then also on top of that, they launched Onyx Mesh this year, which I've already explained before. But again, basically, when we take a look at Onyx, they've done massive things this year lately. So what's going on? Well, I'm seeing that when it comes to Onyx. And good thing they recently released the Explorer, right? Because if they didn't, you know, maybe taking a look at this data would be a little bit tough. But hey, you know what? They released the Explorer this year, so I can check out these figures. That's the thing. So I think it's pretty impressive. I think launching the Explorer is really so amazing, right? Because if we take a look at the Solana Explorer, you know, the Bitcoin Explorer and all this, it gives the community a chance to see how is that doing, right? In a sense where, how is the Bitcoin blockchain doing? How is the Solana blockchain doing? They can see those statistics, they can see those figures, and it's just kind of cool seeing it. So it's no different here when it comes to the Onyx Explorer. It's pretty much the same thing, but of course Onyx is way smaller. But you know what? It's all relative anyways. The way I take a look at it is, as long as they have an Explorer for their layer 1, I just thought it was pretty cool. So naturally, when I saw those statistics recently, I wanted to make a video on it to kind of showcase my thoughts and sort of perspective when it comes to that. Now, if we take a look at it as well, we'll see that when it comes to Onyx, people like to say, well, who really cares about Onyx? You know, they're outdated. Some people like to say that. Need I remind people, Onyx actually has somewhat of an aspect of AI. I'm not joking. Take a look at the Onyx AI agent. Now, I get it. People like to say, but who would really care? Okay, AI as of right now, when it comes to this space, isn't such a big narrative. It's a big narrative when it comes to stocks, but not really when it comes to this space. But what happens if that enters? Onyx, sure, historically, very focused on global trade and finance, but it also has an aspect of AI. So it actually has kind of these two pathways, right? I mean, okay, sure. If let's say the global trade and finance narrative doesn't really work out, they have that AI narrative. But if that doesn't really work out for them, then they have the global trade and finance narrative. So it's not like Onyx is a one-trick pony. That's just the way you take a look at it. And especially now, they have the Onyx Layer 1, they have Onyx Mesh and all this. There's just multiple pathways when it comes to Onyx. We're not talking about a 2025 Onyx or a 2024. No, we're talking about a 2026 one here. It's improved a whole lot. The price may be lower than 2025, but hey, you know what? It's improved by a whole lot. Onyx became better, in my opinion, clearly, ever since last year. But it's just the market not doing the best. Now, people like to say, well, how does that even make any logical sense? This thing became better, arguably, in terms of the fundamentals, but the price charts are lower? Well, if people ask me that, I want to counter that argument by showcasing Bitcoin, because if we take a look at Bitcoin, is the maximum supply still 21 million? Yes, right? But why is it not at an all-time high? Why is it at around 64 grand and the all-time high was above 120 grand? Did it mean that Bitcoin became worse? Not necessarily in terms of a pure fundamental perspective, because the maximum supply is still 21 million. It's not like that changed, you know? It's not like suddenly the maximum supply became 30 million. No. So when it comes to Onyx, it's kind of no different. Onyx is down, but it's down like in the case of Bitcoin, where it's not because of the fundamentals, arguably, it's because just the market isn't doing the best. So again, when it comes to Onyx, keep in mind, it still has around 150,000 holders. Let's just let this sink in for a second, right? People like to say that's not such a good amount. Guess what? Zebic, which is Onyx's closest competitor, it has around 110,000 holders. So even if we were to minus 40,000 from the amount of holders as of right now when it comes to Onyx, that would just only pretty much match Zebic, which again is Onyx's closest competitor. So that, if anything, kind of showcases and I think puts into perspective as to just how many holders this actually has. Now, granted though, does everyone care about this that's holding it? Probably not, but that's still a pretty massive amount. And if we think about it as well, the market cap as of right now being at around 140 million, we got to think about this. That market cap right there, right? If we were to take a look at that, last year the market cap peaked at around $1 billion. So the journey back to there is around 7 times. Wow. Onyx at $1 billion in terms of market cap last year was by no means a top 10 or top 5 project. No, it was not even like that popular anyways during its peak last year. So it showcases how $1 billion in terms of market cap when it comes to Onyx isn't even really such a high bar to begin with. It's not like it's such a massive achievement. Not really. It's not uncharted territory. Like even Onyx historically before that has reached a market cap that is higher than $1 billion if we take a look at the charts, right? So $1 billion in terms of market cap when it comes to Onyx is really nothing that special in my opinion. But again, because we're so low, the journey back to there from where it is as of right now is 7 times approximately. So if we could just go back to $1 billion in terms of market cap, I don't even need an altcoin season. I don't need this to do any better than that anymore, just because we're so low compared to $1 billion in terms of market cap, which wasn't even that good anyways historically when it comes to this. But I'm just saying, that kind of showcases just how much Onyx has gone down, which may not seem like a good thing, but because I'm looking to dollar cost average approximately once a month, then I don't really mind. But on the flip side as well, Onyx, fundamentally, I don't see what bad thing happened to it. If anything, I think it improved by a whole lot when compared to last year. So I'm just still waiting. I'm still holding as of right now. But again, seeing those recent statistics lately that I did see from the Onyx Explorer, I just found that to be pretty impressive. And I think it kind of showcases, I guess, the strides that Onyx has been having as of late. However, that's been pretty much it for today's video. I hope you all have a very fantastic day. It's only the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.